Hello friends, I'm Joseph and this is Home of Sound. We started Home of Sound, this podcast series and a series of masterclasses with one main intention: to help artists, record label owners, promoters, playlist curators, and others in the music industry share their message, connect, and help each other. We hope that you will get inspired by their stories, experiences, tools, and work, and that by spending time with them, you will also get to know them as people. You can connect with us on social media, and if you are a producer and want to know more about masterclasses, the accelerator program, or one-to-one support, get in touch or check our website, homeofsound.co.uk. Without further ado, let's welcome today's guest. Lasha, in art Voicedrone, is a producer, DJ, and the co-founder of club and record label Fold. He also runs his own imprint, Imperfect, and has shared decks with Regis, Anetha, Dasha Rush, UVB, Nur Jaber, Stenny, and many, many more. Born in Georgia and having lived in Berlin and London, he eventually started his own club and party Unfold to deliver on his vision of creating a free space that supports electronic music. In our live chat, we address questions from the audience and we talk extensively about music, why and how he started Fold, what it takes to produce a record label, and Lasha's own story. And we learn about a famous Georgian say, find what you love and let it kill you. Enjoy this chat with Voicedrone. Amazing. Lasha, thanks so much for being with us. This is incredibly exciting for me. We're going live for this interview. It's been long overdue.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite, and thanks to everyone who's logged in and listening to us. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Nice. And so you and I met in Berlin a couple of days ago. You came here to play in one of the few clubs that are still open, and it was an outdoor club, and it felt like weird but also nice to be there. How did you feel about that? It was a gig after a long time, I guess.
Well, yeah, it was quite exciting because I couldn't kind of imagine saying that I'm playing somewhere after everything we've been through. It was just like a weird feeling, kind of say, oh, I'm playing somewhere tomorrow. It was like super weird and exciting at the same time because like we don't have any more gigs anymore, and it's so like this very, very strange times, obviously, and yeah, I was like super excited, like same time, like super like worried how it would go because it was an experience that I've never witnessed before, and but in the end, it worked out really well. Like Elsa is an amazing place run by amazing people, and I played back to back with one of my favorite person and DJ, and it was incredible all around. And it was so good to see you there as well.
Yeah, it was indeed good. We had a shot of Frangelico, of this Italian liquor. Yeah. And it's crazy to see that like you do this stuff wearing a mask until your nose, and like it just feels surreal. It's one.
It feels a little bit strange, and at the same time, I love how there are some rules like that people follow, and it's not as chaotic as it's here in London, and it makes much more easier to obey the rules or follow the rules or like make it happen or like be more cautious than just like not having any rules at all.
Yeah, and also I think Berlin has been much more civilized in that respect, and there are clubs. There are basically beer gardens. Only the outdoor ones are working now, and they're very respectful. Especially else, everybody was wearing a mask. They literally have people who come and tell you off if you're not wearing a mask for 2 minutes.
Yeah, like actually, like the people who worked there were like really on case, and they were telling everyone to put the mask on. Like it was very organized and really like I was very surprised, to be honest.
Yeah. Strange times. And talking about this, like being a person who runs a club as well, you started Fold and you run the club now. What are the things that you guys are thinking to do now that essentially you cannot do a party? You need to respect the rules, the lockdown rules. You don't know how long this will last for. what are you thinking to do with the venue?
I don't know. It's really difficult to talk about like what we can do like in general, because in like it's really, let's say it's really difficult to even know what to do or what not to do, if you know what I mean. It's we're still in a period where we don't know how things will go. We don't know like how rules going to change. We saw like recently so many venues decided to like do it in a different direction, open like beer gardens or like take some different routes, but now they've been ordered to shut down again. So like they invested all this money and all this time and energy into something different to survive, and now they've been told by the government that no, you can't do this this as well. So I think like we are just still working on a strategy how to move forward, because we don't know when the club's going to open. We don't know when we're going to dance again together, especially in UK. So we're just like working on a strategy how to like push things forward and make things happen. We have some plans. I can't really talk about it right now because it's like it's just based on some ideas and stuff. So once we have like more specific and more information about it, we will definitely put it out.
Of course, and the situation changes so fast, both in terms of health of people and in terms of like government guidelines. So it's very hard to say what is going to happen in a month time.
Yeah, it's like a 360. Like today is this, and tomorrow is going to be this. Today, like we found out there are more than 6 people. If you're chanting in the street, you're like it's illegal. So like we don't know what's going to be tomorrow, and therefore it's really difficult to predict the future. I always love to say that like my personal power and the like power of Fold itself in general, it was like that we were feeding from the future and the plans we were planning to do in the future, and now this whole situation is just making it so difficult.
Yeah, and it's tough environment because essentially you have a venue for which you have to pay rent, and you have invested a lot of money, you have invested a lot of energy as well. You have probably a plan that is 12 months, 18 months ahead. And now you are locked in a situation where there's a lot of uncertainty. So the future is a question mark. You don't know when you're going to throw the next event, how that is going to look like, how many people you can get there. And from that perspective, like how much of your planning has changed with the team? Is there any planning that you guys can think about, or now it's just like we do what we can for?
Well, from the lockdown, from the first day when the lockdown started in UK, we still kept doing the live streams, and we still kept like recording mixes and put out some like material, support the artists, support the community. It's just like we kind of like to eliminate the events itself. We never stopped anything else. Like we'd always been pushing, and we'll push like until we can. Even though like everyone started to do live streams, but we still continue to do streams. We changed a little bit of format now, it's a little bit different, but like we're still pushing it, we're still doing it. So yeah, like to adapt to the situation, we are thinking of strategies to like bring some more innovative stuff, more gallery stuff, more like audio visual stuff. So yeah, it's just like really difficult to say like what can work and what can't.
Yeah.
But, like we still work hard every day basically.
And Lasha, switching again to a more positive topic, you are in a very big and interesting studio right now. Is that your studio where you make music?
Yes, this is my personal studio where I make music. Like if I didn't have this studio, like this lockdown period would have been so difficult. Like just kept me sane basically, being here and like and because we had such a busy schedule with Fold, like I didn't have enough time to spend here as well. And nothing is more upsetting when you got a studio like this and then you don't have literally time to go into studio and be creative, because there's so much to do. And as you know, like Fold, we are a really small team and we do everything ourselves, and it's just like it was taking all my time basically.
Yeah.
So this period like helped me a lot to just like lock in my studio and spend more time with making music, and made so much music as well as that.
It's great to hear. Do you feel that your music output increased because of the more time you have in the studio after lockdown?
Yes, like we all know that like making music is just like mental state. It requires certain mental state. It's not just you go like, even though if you have all this hardware, it's not like that easy to just go in the studio and make some music. You just need to have like right mental state, and we know that like production and production is very different from composing. So like composing needs more like you can't compose like 3 tracks in a day, but you can produce 3 tracks a day. It's just like, it's very different. I want to just differentiate from each other, and I want to say that it's very important to have a right mental state to be in the studio, even full of hardware.
Of course. And is there any tool technique that you personally use when you get into the studio to get into the zone, to have the right mental state?
Well, it's like there is not some tools or anything like that. It's just like how we feel and everything going around us and what we do and how things are going. Mainly just like inspire you to do create some ideas. And in this case, like when I made like few tracks during the lockdown, you can see in the tracks that they're like really dark and like very emotional and like has this mood swings into the tracks, because that's what happens then. Like you literally translate your mental state in the music and art you make.
Yeah, and there was a track that I found some time ago. I think you released it around June or May on London White, which I think is called Polyrhythmic Love.
Yeah.
Was that written during lockdown?
Yes. That's part of one of those periods when like it's super dark, and on the vocals we have like S. Rustin, my good friend Sophie. She did it for that, and I think it came out really nice. It has this like a dark drive that sometimes we need to like fight our own demons.
Yeah. And Sophie did you guys produce it together, or you split it? And then
No, it's like I asked her to record some vocal sections for it.
Okay.
I produced the track, but then I thought that it would be nice to have some like very dark vocals on it as well. And then she just recorded in her studio in Berlin. Yeah,
got it. Okay. Very, very interesting. So it's a track born out of this fantastic year during lockdown.
And this is only one of those as well. Like I've got like loads of tracks that have just been written during this period, and I think like for me, it's like as a producer, when you look back at it and like when you think about it, it just like it doesn't have like good strings attached to it, because we like our whole world had this issue like with whatever we are still going through, and but like obviously it's just my kind of protest to everything that's going on around us. Yeah,
there is as an artist, so talking about Voicedrone now, is there anything that you think you want to focus more on because of the time we're in, where you spend more time in the studio, there is less gigs, there is less events in general? Did you find something else that attracts you as an artist, that, for example, I don't know, another form of art that you can merge with your music?
Well, as I said before, at Fall, we got so much to do, and so we are doing so much together as a team.
Yeah.
And said we are such a small team as well. Like there's loads of things we like constantly work on stuff, on ideas, like how to make it happen as a team, as a family. And apart that, I think like gaming has been helping me a lot to get through this times.
Yeah. Any particular game that you play?
No, it's like nothing serious. It's just like sometimes it's good to switch off the brain for a bit.
Yeah. Great. And I think out of lockdown, you also did podcast for Slam Radio, for Slam the DJs. And I think it was a podcast with James Newmark that you work with, that you have done tons of back-to-backs with. How did that came about? What was exciting about that?
Yeah, like I've been listening to Slam Radio for such a long time, and all my favorite artists, they've done mix for them. And I want to use this moment and say a huge thanks to Connor, Dalton, and whole rest of the Slam crew who invited me in general. And then I was like, maybe it's better that me and James gonna do together, because like it kind of will revive this Unfold spirit that we always wanted to, always wanted to put in a mix. And plus, like, people have been missing Unfolds and like Fold in general. So we thought it would be a good idea to bring them something that they will like hold on to, let's say, in a like metaphorical way, because we all know that dancing is like the best therapy for me, and that's what we're missing right now. Just a dance, just a good dance, and being together and like supporting each other and being creative. And that's what that mix was about, and that's why it's so special. And me and Jay's been closing like for every Unfold since we started, and it kind of worked out as a tradition. And then that's why we kind of decided to like do this mix together.
And take it online, basically.
Yeah, take it online just to get a little bit of like maybe 2% of Unfold feeling into like in a more digital way.
Yeah. And it's just one technical thing. I think I see on Instagram, it's hard to see your face. Can you turn the camera a bit toward your... Yeah, perfect. Yes. So people will see you. Great. Yeah.
It's difficult because I'm like trying to wedge my phone between the buttons on my mixer.
That's perfect. Yes.
Better now, I think.
Amazing. Yes. And so we're talking about, you and Lasha, you closed a lot of Unfolds. I'm going to ask you a question about Unfold because I think it's super interesting. But I wanted to say, I remember you and Lasha playing a lot of sets, and I find both of you very hard most of the times, but also very versatile. You have a lot of breakbeat stuff, sometimes drum and bass and jungle. And I find it always interesting because you seem to be fitting really well together. As if you were, like, do you guys test or like play together outside of the gigs, or it just happens naturally?
No, it all happens naturally. Like when I started DJing, I used to play breaks, and that was my beginning. I'm saying this like maybe 11, 12 years ago. And all my first records, from TCR to like, I don't know, to Watcher and Scarpa, like all my nature was breaks. And then I slowly moved and evolved a little bit. And I like lots of people, like most of my friends tell me that I move like ninja between techno, breaks and jungle. Like
it's a great thing to do.
But for me, it's like, you know, like a few like 4x4 track, and then I need to break it. It's like I need to bring something, and like loads of what breaks does is just like brings energy. And that's why, I don't know if you noticed in all loads of like action movie like scenes where the action is, there's always breaks on it as a soundtrack, because it brings the energy that like the scene or like the atmosphere needs it. And that's why I think like it's very important. And James is more like straightforward and like techno, but like I'm more into like breaks aside, and I always like to just like break the circle a little bit and take a different route. But we never test, like it always comes out naturally. Like I must say, like our taste like really a little bit matches each other, like in terms of like jungle breaks and other side. And yeah, I think kind of works naturally really well, like when we play together.
Yeah, and in a way, I think by working together, being, I guess, friends as well, outside of work, you kind of you probably like the similar stuff, and you work well together. So then you apply that to your...
We never play the same tracks. That's the best thing about like us. We never play the same tracks, because once I know that he always plays that track, I don't want to play it anymore. It's like, you know, in a nice way. It's just like, I'm like, I've got my direction. He's got his own direction. Obviously, we both like each other's tunes. It's just like we want to like take a different directions every time. And it works better, to be honest. Same I want to say with Sophie, like me and Sophie, we have like super similar taste in whole direction, and with her, like I don't even need to think about like what I'm gonna play next. And I think that's what a whole back to back is about. You need to like know a person on that level that you understand each other without saying a word. And DJ booth is not a perfect space to have a word, so it's like we just understand each other like without even talking. Yeah,
beyond the words.
She's like from the breaks generation as well, so it's like it makes everything so much easier for us.
Hey, it's great to hear. Was there ever a point, maybe with James or Sophie or someone else, where you felt like, holy shit, like this back to back is very difficult? Like,
No, to be honest, never. It's really difficult to say on Unfold because like the energy on the dance floor is crazy, and it becomes so wild in the end as well. And we play in the end, so the energy becomes so wild that you just like you get to play more. Like you want to play more and you want to express it more, and that's why like that doesn't become like a thing. I remember last year we've been invited, me and James, to play in Sheffield. It was one of those first back-to-backs we did, and our friend Liam invited to play in Sheffield. And when we went to this venue, it's a Kitchen Street, I think, a kitchen, and we played in this room. It was completely dark. We couldn't see anything. Like we only could see like CDJs. There was like a few lights, lighting up, and we were playing, and suddenly so we finished the set, and light comes on, and it's like full of people, the room, like, and it was probably one of the best feelings. It's just like you don't see anyone, but you can feel the energy on the dance floor, and it, like made it so special. And,
yeah.
And then the other day, so someone like one of the guys who was on the party message like who left a comment on my post on Facebook, was like, "Oh, your James's set is still one of my best that I've heard." So I was like, "Yes, that's amazing."
That's heartwarming, and especially moments like this. Like I was getting goosebumps the moment you described the crowd, like not seeing people and feeling like the energy. It's something that like everybody's missing like crazy now. Yeah, and talking along the same line, I wanted to ask you something about Unfold. For context, for people who were not familiar with Unfold, Unfold is the regular Sunday party that Lasha and the team of Fold have been running for about a year and something, I guess.
Oh, 1 year. I think we had a 1 year birthday in June.
June, yeah. It must have been June 2019, I remember. And I think I came to the first one, and I remember I entered this club. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, it's like a Sunday party. Of course, I'm going to have fun and everything. And then I entered the room, and the first thing that I see is like, there's no DJ booth. I'm like, what the fuck are these guys playing? And then I noticed that the DJ booth is in the middle of the people, in the middle of the club. And I was like, wow, I love this. It's amazing. And do you remember, like, this is a very peculiar thing for a party in general. Like, who came up with the idea, and how did that develop into being the thing of Unfold?
So, like, I always, like, before we opened Fold, I always wanted to have, like, DJ booth in the middle, like, for, like, every night. But if you remember, the room is a little bit narrow. So then I thought, like, you might not work in the middle. Also, like, we want to have a green room, and it's quite essential for the changeovers and stuff as well. So it's like it makes really difficult to have DJ booth if you have loads of changeovers.
Right.
And also, like, if you want to put turntables, that's why on Unfold we struggle a little bit to have like DJs who want to play on turntables, because like you're right in the front of the subs, and it makes really difficult to like hold the needle in a place. And that's why in the end we decided to put on one side of the stage on a regular normal loadout. But then like on Sunday we thought like, oh, let's try and remake this, but only for Sunday parties where we don't have to do like loads of like changeover. And also like we said that we're not going to have a green room, so green room is open, like there is no like anybody can go there. And also like I thought it would be a great idea, because normally people can't get on the main DJ booth, so it would be like a good idea to let the people go there, because we know how like people love to go, how to be in a DJ booth, how they want to see, how not they want to explore, because there are like certain limits in the clubs and the venues you go that you can't cross this line, you can't see that, you can't see like the other part of it. So we just wanted to make sure like people will enjoy it, will like see a different side of Fold. Like there will be no green room, no like privileges. It's just like music, DJ booth in the middle, selectors. A beautiful community.
It is, and also for the artist feels very different, because they feel they feel they are in the middle of the crowd. Like it's not the artist is speaking to the crowd. It's like it's a two-way communication. You, as an artist, you really feel like in the middle of the dance floor, and
the best thing, like because they're standing in a circle, everybody can see each other. Like when you're like facing DJ booth, let's say you're in the DJ booth is one end, and you're like facing that, you can't see people behind you. But when you all dance like ritualistically on a circle, where then everybody can see each other, make eye contacts, make this like a supernatural contact that makes everything special. That's why the energy like on a dance floor is incredible. I've never seen anything like that. And it's not because it's ours and we made it, and like it's not because of that. It just comes truly from the heart there. Like the energy is like incredible. And the reason why when we start during the day, obviously it starts a little bit mellow, and like people are coming and arriving, and nobody, like most of the people who we have on Sunday, they don't come from the other parties. They just wake up in the morning, have a breakfast, like put the clothes on, get ready, come down to Unfold. And you make like, and then once it gets like dark and like sun goes down, like it becomes more wild. It's the same kind of feeling when the sun comes up in the 6 in the morning, and like you enjoy a lot when the like sun is up and like light that shines through the window. It's kind of same effect, and it becomes so wild. In the end, we have like people dancing on a stage where we have CDJs like on that. Like it's incredible. Yesterday I was watching the videos. Like I have some secret videos like for myself only, and just realized how much I miss it. It's incredible.
It is incredible. I generally love Sunday parties because I think they take less of a toll on your mental and physical health. Like you don't feel tired on Monday morning because you rested on Saturday. It's like you don't fuck up your time zone in your head. And I like how it's almost reverse. Like you start very, very mellow, like with Unfold, and then as you said, like it gets darker and then it gets a bit more intense. Yeah. And talking about Fold generally, so Fold is a new club, a young club, and it became an institution in London. And as a club that promoted a lot of headliners, promoted also the local scene, you made a lot of parties. Like in year and a half of operation, maybe 2 years of operation, you really threw a lot of parties, and you became a very well-respected club in the techno and electronic music landscape. And also as a community-based club. So there is a lot of people who come from the underground community for the more mainstream techno, for other types of electronic music. Very, very good hub for people to get together. For the LGBTQ scene as well. What was the philosophy behind Fold when you started it? And the other question I have is that, was there a moment where you were like, fuck, this is real. We made it. We actually created what we wanted to create.
Well, like, I must say that I couldn't imagine where we are now before we started Fold. Like, it was a hell of a journey, like from day one, because we were building everything here, like literally 9 months before we opened. So like, we didn't have any time or like, idea of like or planning time. We didn't have any like sort of we're gonna make it look like this, or we're gonna build like this. So we were just like building and making everything like throughout the works, and and we worked, and I worked personally on constructing it and like building it, and like obviously like it looks exactly how I imagined in my head. And that's the best part of it, like when we walked in this building, when we walked in this building, I was like, I think it needs to look like that. And then, but that's all happening in my head, and it exactly looks like our head in my head. Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
And the funny story is like initially we wanted to have like if you imagine like whole Fold, like there is studios on the left hand side, and there is like a dance floor on the right hand side and a terrace. So we wanted to do the other way around, because downstairs there were this printing company, and they had this huge machine like guillotine, which was like stapling like the paper for like all day, like thousands of them. So it was making such a like huge noise. We were like, oh, we can't have studios on this side, so it must be like dance floor on this side. So like, like this accidental mistakes worked on our favor as well. Like this is like one of like few, and there was like crazy adventure from day one. And then once we opened, obviously like main idea of Fold was always like the venue by the artist, for the artist. And I've been through a period when I've been bullied myself as an artist, and like I could see all my friends around me and people around me, and like upcoming artists especially, like couldn't get any chance or couldn't get any like possibility to prove themselves, even though we don't have to prove anything to anyone. And they couldn't have this platform where they could showcase their talent. And that was the idea from the start. I didn't want anyone to feel the same way I felt like during all this period, like transition, when I had this transition from Georgia to here. And I wanted to make a difference. And that was the main goal, what was pushing all of us collectively to break those boundaries where everything happens with like you need to be friends of someone to have a chance to showcase your art. And that's why I was like, we can't have this anymore, because this is like what in this industry and like this clubbing formula, not only UK, general in the world, like just like set the boundaries. And that's what Fold was like. That's what Fold is like, to break these boundaries, tell like that this is not going to happen like this, because this is not right. And that's why, like, initially, like, we had some suggestions that we're going to do, we're going to be selective on a door, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do, take some examples from the other venues. But, like, even though that, I don't agree with that, because I don't want to, be selective on a door and don't teach people, person who comes inside anything other than just, kicking them out. We'd rather let them in.
Yeah.
If they make a mistake, or if they behave in a way they shouldn't, we'd rather teach them what is wrong and what is right, other than just telling them not to come in straight away inside the venue. So from the start, Fold has this institutional we are all learning. I'm learning, and all of us we are still learning. We're not born to run the club, or we're not born to have this crazy ability of doing business. But what we are born is that we can learn and can teach, and we can do amazing things. We can make a difference, and that was Fold was about. It was like a protest to make a difference, to break the chains, break the boundaries, and that's what we've been doing from day one. And so far, I think it worked, and we gathered a most beautiful community in the world around us, who are supporting us every day, day to day, hour to hour, and I think we made it. We made it, and we're gonna continue to until the Babylon is burned.
First of all, congrats, and it looks like you managed to create your own utopia. So you had an idea. I love the part of thinking about you seeing this place that is an abandoned warehouse and being like, fuck, I want to build this thing. And actually putting in the work, and then years later, you're like, holy shit, this thing is happening. And it reminds me of, there's a book that I've read by a guy called Derek Sievers, who is the founder of City Baby, the first online digital music distributor. And the book is called Anything You Want. And he says that basically the book is about when you do something in life, you need to make sure you do something that you're really passionate about. And especially if you're building a business, it's your chance, or a company or a team, it's your chance to create your own world and make it anything you want. And I think this is it really reminded me of what you described here. It's and that is reality. Last thing you know, there is people who are behind that, and you are creating an environment where people enjoy themselves and feel alive and get together and know each other. It's great.
That's why I always wanted to before we opened, I never wanted to have any signs outside. I always wanted to keep the beauty of architecture, and I always wanted to Fold to be the place where normal day is just a building, like a random warehouse, but at night it becomes the place where we all get together, like-minded people, not like-minded people, like everyone, we get there and we have a crazy, beautiful dance.
Yeah, yeah. Well done. Well done to you, to James, to the rest of the team for putting in the work. What's one thing you wish you knew before you started a club? or if you want, what is one of the biggest mistakes?
I never wanted to be involved in the business in general. I studied business myself, but I quit because it was not something that I wanted to do. Like I got bachelor in business administration, and like after I finished my university, I just like decided to not to follow it because it was not my thing. I never wanted to run a club or have a club or like build a club. I always wanted to play in the clubs because that's what I do. This is my passion. This is what I live with. I'm an artist, I'm a musician, and I always wanted to play in clubs. But now universe has decided differently, so I have to, you know, follow like my side passion as well.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta manage to do both at the same time. So the business, if you want, is like supporting the vision, the artist's vision.
Yeah, of course.
And making it possible.
Fold was never the Fold. Like from the day one, it was never about a business. It was always like business. Always was to support like our future ideas, our projects, and all these like differences that we want to make, even in the future. Like it was just to support that.
Yeah.
Purely that.
And now going back to your other projects, I'm gonna ask you a few questions about Voicedrone. But I know you run a label, IMPRFCT as well, called IMPRFCT. What's behind the label? What's the philosophy, the driver? How do you select artists that end up in the label? How do you select music for that?
Not only IMPRFCT, I launched Fold Records as well. Like I've got first release on 2nd of October, but we'll talk about it later on. IMPRFCT, just to start with the name came up with me because like I can see how like my imperfect art can be perfect for you and vice versa. So like I called imperfect because like my perfection is somebody's perfection, and that was the idea behind it, because the art and music in general, what we make, is not for everyone. And I want to create something different. I want to make something that will like again open the possibility of the platform for the artists, for the people who do like different things, different types of music. And I had only a few releases, and purely because I don't have time now. I've got some like ideas now what to do next, but first release was mine. And then I had this like amazing guy from Russia, Alexei. He did like second EPs, like fully ambient EP, which I opened all my DJ sets with these tracks. And it's very emotional. It's really warm. It's like warm and cold at the same time. It's like close to the heart. It's something like that just like helps me to realize what I want to do in general, like how I want to fight every fight. And it's just like one of the tools that helps me to be who I am. And I've got a few ideas now coming up, and let's see how it goes.
Whenever you have stuff ready to be released or actually released, let us know. We can share them with our community. I'm sure there is someone who's listening to it now that is interested in what you're up to.
Yeah, of course. And also like now, and like during the lockdown, we've worked on this project. Like I always wanted to have like Fold records like attached to Fold. I think it's like very natural continuation of what we started. And we have first release coming out on 2nd of October. It's by Gareth Wild. EP is called Common Assault. I think Gareth was the best person to start the label with, because he's been with us, like he's been my friend for many years now, and for me he's one of like the most important figure in techno scene, and not only techno, in general in London and in UK. And his label has been releasing like incredible stuff like for many years now. And Year to Ground is releasing like a 30th release like around Christmas, and it's me and Gareth's collaboration.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think and design has been made by our designer, Mr. Leon. I've got record here, you can see in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Beautiful neon lime record. And so our designer is working on like every release. He will work with one of his favorite designers, so it will be like collaboration between like two designers on each cover for each release. And yeah, like
yeah. And so that's the plan is to release people who are connected with Fold. Are you thinking to expand it to artists who never played a Fold yet?
Well, we'll see how it goes. So far, I've got already 4 release planned, mainly from our community and the part of like people who've been with us from the beginning. And I was thinking like would be like really good combination to have someone like bigger name to do a remix for like for more upcoming artists. So we just like make releases like that. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So like first release is doing really well so far, and we got really good feedback from so many good artists. It's incredible.
Nice. Yeah, good to know. And you know, the label is, of course, it's a long journey. It's a long marathon. It takes time to build it up, but every time you release something is fulfilling as an artist. And for those who are listening who might be thinking or considering to start a label, if they are undecided because they think it's too much work, they're never going to make it, they're never going to get attention, they're never going to release good music, do you have any suggestion for someone who's like divided between starting or not?
Well, starting a label is big dedication that like probably every job or every profession or everything we do like needs our time, needs dedication, needs interest, love. Like if you got all that, then you can do it. Everyone can do it. It's really super easy to do it if you got a passion, if you got like this sparkle in yourself that you want to fight this, you want to like achieve the heights, like conquer the mountains, you know, like everything is possible, everything is doable. It's just like we need to find that like falls down deep inside us, that somewhere hidden of like what we want to do and how we want to do. And then that makes everything super easy to make it work.
A driver, basically.
Yeah. It's like we all have this kind of like energy and fire inside us, and the only problem and the only obstacle that we have in front of us is just like we haven't discovered it. We don't know it. We can't feel it. So that's what we need. Like if you start a label, for example, you just need to have a plan. You need to have like this passion, fire, drive, and it's gonna work.
Yeah, and it takes time. I mean,
it takes time. It's not easy because like physically you can't have like too many releases in a year, let's say in a year or in a month, because like people need to listen to it, they need to digest it, they need to play it, they need to like get the emotion that you're like a bit. What I was like putting the label close, be like you are putting a message in a bottle and you're sending it, and like, but like in this case you're putting like 100 bottles and sending it out into a sea of like creativity.
Yeah.
And you just need to like just do it
and learn how to send the bottle so it reaches a shore at some point. Yeah,
well, like always like it's become like as I said the sea, because we know how creative everyone around us is, and someone might find a ball, someone's not going to find it. It was like challenges on the way, but like one day someone will find it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's our goal, to find those who find those bottles, you know, who find those messages that we send it to them. And once you reach to that, then it becomes a little bit more easier.
Yeah, it does. And a question I wanted to ask is around turning points. I think a lot of us think that artists especially, they make it because a one turning point, one person, one label that makes them explode. I think sometimes it's true, but do you believe that this is the reality for most of artists?
I don't believe that. Like when I started to like make music and for like production, and the reason why I was making music, it was not because I wanted to release it. And this is what I want to give advice to, like, especially starting producers, that like you shouldn't make music to release it. You make music because you love process, because you love and enjoy like the time you're spending with something that you really love. And like when I get loads of visitors in the studio, and like some people, oh, do you need all this equipment, and all these questions that I'm getting. But it's not about that. It's like, I don't make music because I want to release it. I make music because the process is like, I come out from my own skin, and the process gives me that fix, let's say, in a like in a way that I need, that my soul needs. And that's how it should be. Like, there's very something special that like you think about, that like the process, like to enjoy the process, enjoy the moment that you're in, and don't do for some different reasons something that like irrelevant. At that point it becomes relevant later on stage, but like if you decide to be, but like at that point when you make it, it's like, for me, in my opinion, it's very relevant.
Yes, and I think it's also more sustainable long term. Like if you're doing something that makes you happy just by doing it, you will probably never stop. Like it's there with you for life, and you're gonna be happy in the moments because you enjoy the process, and you're not gonna get tired of doing that because that's the purpose. The purpose is the process.
Yeah, exactly. And once you set that goal to yourself, and then you're already starting on a right foot, you know, like and then obviously you're gonna get appreciation. Obviously you're gonna, like, the next steps will come, but like you have to be for the right reason in the right place.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
that's why I don't believe in this one chance, one turn thing, because it's a lot of hard work, lots of time, lots of energy, like and dedication. It's just like, it's a fight, it's a constant fight. And,
yes, never ending, probably.
Never ending. But we don't want to end. When it ends, that means that we don't want to make it anymore. We don't want this process anymore. Yeah. Like, you know, like if you get like in Georgia, I'm from Georgia, and in Georgia we have this saying that like find what you really love and let it kill you. So that's like good. In a metaphorical way, it's just like finding things that like you know, like kills you in a good way.
Yeah, I think you dropped on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll send you a request.
Okay, perfect. And here we go, and we're back. And it's good that you mentioned Georgia. I think it's connecting and back. Voicedrone is back on Instagram. Amazing, yes. Yes, so you were mentioning Georgia. So tell me again, what was the saying, Georgia?
The saying is find what you really love and let it kill you.
I love it.
It can be personal, it can be stuff that you do. It's like, it can be like multi-way metaphorical saying. I love this all, like sometimes like Georgian says can't be translated in English, but I love to find the words that I can translate that make sense in English.
Yeah. And so it's a great say, and I think a good segue for my next question. And by the way, I just wanted to say to people who are listening, if you guys have questions, we are going toward the wrap up in the next 10 minutes, so prepare your questions, type them either on Instagram or on Facebook, and we're gonna find a way to ask them to Lasha. And Lasha, so you were born and grew up for part of your life in Georgia. What brought you to? I think you went to Berlin first, and then London.
No. I came to London straight away.
Yeah.
So like, I was born in the mountains, like Caucasian mountains in Georgia. It's like a beautiful, beautiful place called Mestia. And both my parents are from there. I grew up there like until I went to school. I finished school and uni in Georgia. And then like obviously during the uni, all my interest in music started. And like I started to buy records and like write about the artists and like starting to learn like DJing and then obviously slowly making music. So, and that time, every artist and all the influence I was getting was coming from UK, from like London, from Sheffield, from Bristol. Like it was just like incredible energy coming from UK. So I was like, I need to go there. I need to see this. I need to see where I'm getting all these signals from. It's like when you're on a different planet and you're getting like this lost voices, like signals and lost voice messages, like. Or you find a bottle in the water and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see what's going on. So that's how I ended up here. And obviously, like I took different turn in music as well. I almost dropped making music because, like, we all know how difficult it is to live in London. And I was working like quite a lot, so I didn't have time at all for music. But slowly, I managed to make a U-turn. And thanks to my friends for that, I have like amazing friends who helped me to get through it. That I'm still.
Great point. And I think on Instagram, do you mind to turn down the volume of the phone? I think you've reset. You must have reset.
No, it's still down.
Still down? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. Let's keep going. And then you mentioned to me when we met last week that you lived in Berlin for a short while. So you went Georgia, London, Berlin, and then back to London. Is that right?
But then, I moved from here to Berlin for 2 years because I just wanted to spend some time with like making music, and I was getting so much distraction here.
Mm-hmm.
It was so difficult, like, to concentrate on stuff. And that time, I used to have a studio in Shapes in Hackney Wick. That's how I met Seb. Like then, me and Seb, we did Fall Together, from there I moved to Berlin. I found this place like outside of Berlin in close to Lichtenberg. It was like big complex that I was renting a studio there. And like to be honest, it was quite different from like I told you as well, like when we met, that it's very different when you visit Berlin and when you live there. Like it was amazing. It's amazing how like I could have some time for myself, like as a person, as an artist, and it helped me a lot to shape on what stage I am right now. And then one day I just came back for something, and then Seb called me and he was like, I found this building. It was like 2017, like December, 2017. He was moving like in October, and he was like, I found this building, that like, you want to go and see it? Maybe we can do something there. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And once we came here and we saw this place, we were like, okay, well, like, let's do and build something special. And then I left my studio there. I moved here, so I still had a studio there, and we started building Fold. And then in a few months, I had to go back and bring it back again because I couldn't go back there anymore. I was like fully transformed here.
Yeah, you had something to do with that. Yeah. And so talking about your DJ evolution or progress in London. So I think the first time you and I crossed paths must have been 3 years ago, maybe 2017, and it was at Hotbox, underground party in London. What was your DJ journey in terms of like type of places that you were playing and music when you were in London? So I guess 2017 you moved back. And you were DJing in Berlin at the time, or you started kind of re-DJing again in London?
No, I started DJing in Georgia. It's just like this thing that I've been DJing for like 12 years. It's just like obviously like the musical direction and like the way we think and form things. It's like that helps you to shape in a way direction you want to go with the sound. And Obviously, like my direction music has changed quite a lot as well. That's why, like when we started conversation, I said that like I still play loads of breaks tracks, and some people can't even like I can't even make a connection from like that techno track to that breaks track. So obviously, like it was this spiral and sine wave that I did musically, like as a DJ. But like finally, I found myself, and I feel really comfortable where I am now. And that's the biggest goal as well as a DJ. Like you need to find that perfect spot that you want to be musically, and then once you find that, it makes everything a lot easier. Narrows down like a lot.
Yeah.
And then 2017, I played on one of the first hotbox ever. It was like, what year was it? I think it was 2015.
In the basement.
In Whitechapel, and
glorious basement.
Yeah. So it was, I remember it was the very first one, and after that, like I've been on most of them, and I want to say how important hotbox is it for like our local community, and how much it means personally to me, and yeah, it's like we need to make sure that we stay strong and together to support each other to survive these hard times, because we can't afford to lose any of it.
I fully agree, and hotbox has been, and it is close to my heart as well. Like I have so many memories of the basement and everything that happened after, and I agree with you. Like it's not just a venue that shuts down. It's not just a party that shuts down. It's a community that is being muted. Like literally, when one of these places, for whatever reason, doesn't exist anymore, you are essentially taking people and a literary community around the place, and you're telling them, fuck off. And it's not nice, especially in a city like London, which is a big city, very tough to live in, expensive. I think it's important to keep strong and try to support each other where we can, especially also these days when coronavirus is affecting every promoter on earth. Super hard.
And it's not affecting only physically. It's not affecting only like physically. It's affecting mentally, and like loads of people around me have been like in a super horrible circumstance in terms of like everything around them, and that's why we need to like stay together. Like that's why we need music. That's why we need the stuff that unites us back again, because like what this like current situation is doing is just like splitting the communities, like, you know, splitting the ideas, and like in the end we're gonna lose the war if we're not gonna just like support each other.
Oh yeah, indeed.
That's why we need to like stand really strong together.
And yeah, I have 2 questions from the audience.
Okay.
And let's start with the second one, which is this one on Instagram. Like, what are suggestions for someone who is just getting started to approach production when it feels overwhelming?
So, like, when you start production, you need to, my advice would be like, it doesn't matter what equipment you have. It doesn't matter what computer you have, as long as you can find a way to transform your ideas into tracks or into some like art, like that's it. You know, that's the beginning. You just like transform your ideas and your way of feeling, sort of like the way you feel and stuff like that, into the into the art. And for that, like, you don't need a high-end studio. You can start with only your computer. And obviously it's a long process to learn and lots of like difficulties and bumps on the way. But like, don't be scared of anything. You shouldn't be scared of like any of it, because it's how it is. And that when I started, like, I never liked any of my music, any of my art that I made at the time. And the day we start to like it, it means like we stop growing. Not liking your music or not liking the stuff that you make doesn't mean that you're not growing, doesn't mean that you're not making progress. You're actually making more progress by failing and not liking stuff that you make than to be happy with what you got. So like,
Yeah.
say that my advice will be just like work hard, work with what you got, and like fight for the better and better.
Yes, and I think I don't think I never met an artist that is feeling like they have got to a point where they're perfect. Like even artists who are living out of music, who are like traveling in normal times 4 or 5 times a week, they're still like most of the time unsatisfied with what they make, and they use that to push themselves to the next level. So I think it's like it's an implied, I would say, it's an implied property of being an artist, creating stuff. Yeah,
exactly. That's why we should never stop learning and never stop like growing. And like I got rejected by so many record labels, so many artists. It's like it's a part of it. It's like the way we need to go through, and it's not easy. No one said that it would be easy.
No, exactly, and a very good point on rejections. What is a way to handle rejections, knowing that that is part of the process for sure when you are an artist?
Well, like you just continue making more, continue to make it like work on it, can continue to like pursue the idea you had for initially, and it's just like fight for it. It's a fight that we need to take, and one day, like no one knows that these timescales are absolutely absurd. Like no one knows the timescales. It's just all about hard work and how much work you put into it, and like how you want. Like most difficult part is like to decide what you want, direction you want to go, like what you want to do, and then from there, then you already have like a right step to follow it.
Yeah, that gives you, in a way, inner confidence in your chosen path, your chosen route. So whatever happens, you're gonna say, I have to do it, to endure that challenge. Yeah. And another question from the audience is, apart from Fold, what is one of your favorite places where you have played?
It's a difficult question, but like I really enjoyed Horum, like in Georgia, Bassiani.
Bassiani, yeah.
Yeah, I played 6-hour set with Sophie back to back, and it was super special because I haven't played in Georgia for like almost 10 years, and it was kind of very special to go back and meet all my friends, and that's what happens when we're here. Like when we move to a different country, we leave all our friends, family, and then it becomes this like distance relationship, and it's very important to like keep this momentum and like connection with them. And yeah, it was very special. All my friends came down, like obviously like James was there as well, like from here. He was the first time in Georgia.
Amazing.
And, we had amazing time. It was incredible. Like 6 hours went like that. In the end, I forgot that I wanted to go to the toilet because I was so excited. Like, couldn't get through it. It's like really small room. It's like maybe twice, like let's say 4 rooms like this.
Yeah.
And like people were everywhere, literally everyone. The speakers, dancing, jumping. It was like, I don't know, it's crazy experience.
It must have been like, and especially like for you going back to, I guess for you, home is also London and in that city, but going back to Georgia is part of your art, and it's nice to go there, like play music.
It's like going home, and like it just feels special. Like my parents are there, all my friends are there, and for me, it's like going to Georgia is something like I always say that it's never a holiday, because when you go there, you don't have time to rest, because you need to see everyone, from cousins, relatives to family to friends, like pretty much same as in Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
But like that's what I'm missing here. That's what I'm missing, like that warmth and that love, that like like.
And from my experience with Georgians, I found them very similar to Italians as well. Like the culture is very similar. People are very warm, incredibly hospitable. Like they take care of you as a guest, and it's like a warm culture. People love to spend time with each other.
Yeah, it is. Like I used to live in Italy as well when I was a child. Obviously, we had a war in Georgia, like in 1991. one. And we've been like forced to leave the territory where we used to live in Georgia at that time. And when we lost and Russia occupied some of the territory in Georgia, and I still got like refugee status in my own country. It's that bad, and like Russia is still occupying like 20% of our country, and yeah, they made this association to to send children who survived war, who's been part of this like serious aggression, to live in families in Italy. They found this like families in Italy who wanted to do a charity as help children from like who were victims of war. And me and my sister, we went to live in Italy for like every summer for 3 years.
Wow.
Like, in Sicily. And that time, the mayor of Sicily, of Palermo, was like really good friend with like president of Georgia, and they made this association and they started to support these kids. And like when I arrived there in Italy, like I didn't even know one word. I was like 9-10 years old, and obviously when they were asking me something, I couldn't respond. And first time in my life, I had my own room, and then like literally in 3 months, I used to speak like fluent Italian. When you're a kid, you're just like, your brain is like a sponge. You pick up everything.
Yeah.
Especially I didn't have anyone around me, so I had to learn, you know. And I think that was like, imagine like how big responsibility is to have someone's child under your responsibility, especially like at that age. And I wanna like, I don't know, these families were like super brave, super like kindest like people in the world who could like pay all this money to support these kids. And I don't know, they're my second family. Like every time I go to Italy, I go visit them. Like I even go to see them. Like it's just like very, very close to me. And that's why I found this like beautiful connection between Italian and Georgian people. And also like in the language as well, like the reason why it was so easy for me to learn Italian, because like when you translate a sentence directly from Georgian to Italian, it translates straight away. But
the
like
construction of the sentence.
Sentences and like there's some phrases, the way we ways of expression is like very similar. Obviously in Georgian language we don't have gender, but like still like very similar construction of words, sentences, like phrases, the idea. When in English you need to completely change the everything.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I never got my head around Georgian language. Very interesting to know, and even like more impressed by the families that like it's an amazing thing that they did of receiving kids from like a war zone essentially to protect them. Like, so you stay in touch with them? You have like
yes. I'll go to see them every year, and then like I've got like basically 2 brothers. And their parents there. My sisters, they still live in Sicily. They're studying there.
Okay.
As well, she's there, so like I go there quite often.
That's very cool. And have they come to one of your gigs or fold?
No, because it's quite difficult with the Georgian passport. You need to get a UK visa to get here, so it's really difficult for them to like organize it. Especially when you're Georgian and you live in a different country, then you need to go back to Georgia, and it's a very long story. So it's very difficult to organize to get them to come here. But I invited them when I played in Grissmuller like 3 years ago when I was living in Berlin, and they had an amazing time.
Yeah. It must have felt like they must have felt very proud of you.
Yeah, both of them are artists as well. Like one of them is writer, philosopher, and the smaller one is a painter. Like in the background, you can see all her paintings. So it's just like in the family, we kind of sort of like worked out to be all artists.
That's very cool. And you have new acquired brothers and sisters from another country. Yeah. Lasha, I know we are like going toward the wrapping up. I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions, and then we have time for another more question if you guys have it, you guys who are listening. So let me ask you this. Is there any guilty pleasure of yours, any track that you like, but you never threw in a set because it was never the right moment, or you felt like the crowd wouldn't accept it?
As a track?
Yeah, as a track, yeah.
Not really. I play everything that I want. It's just like I never have like that feeling that like crowd kinda not gonna accept it. It's just like I always play what I really want to play, and that always helped me to like break more boundaries and be myself. And yeah, but there is that. Yeah, I must say there's this this track that I always wanted to play, but I never managed to play it. It's Placebo's track.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
You and I.
Which one? What's the name of the track? I'm gonna look it up after.
It's called You and I.
Placebo, you and I. Okay. I think it rings a bell. Anyways, I'll look it up. Yeah, I guess placebo is not really like the.
You and me. No, sorry, not and I. You and me.
You and me. Okay, okay. And
every me.
it's a tricky track, I guess, to mix in a dance floor set.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then another question: what is a secret weapon of yours? And could be music, could be beyond music.
Funny enough, I've got this on my USB. I've got this playlist called Secret Weapons. Like when somebody sees it, it's like, oh my god, what's
there?
What's in there? What is it there? Yeah, I think like my secret weapon is my music.
Very. Yeah.
As it sounds.
Is the secret weapon playlist? I mean, public, or is your like really secret weapon?
No, it's my very secret.
Okay.
Homemade.
Homemade weapons. Okay. You made me curious now.
Yeah, it's like I like to edit some tracks as well, because when I play breaks and techno together, I need to edit them in terms of like that they can work somehow. So, yeah, I've got some old tracks from like the 90s, 80s that like that couldn't be played because, you know, at that time there was no record box or any digital sources, so it was like lots of ripping from the records, vinyls, and yeah, it's just like edits, and I love to edit tracks so they could work in a set.
Yeah, you do the edits in Ableton, Reason, or?
Yes, I'll do in Ableton.
You do them? Yeah, okay, got it.
Well, when I started my production, when I started to make music, I started to use Reason. That was like the first software that I started making music with, and yeah, it's like a great tool. Like if you don't have any equipment or anything, you just like literally get your head around everything, like how whole system works, how everything is, everything that you need to know basically as you start as a producer.
Got it. Okay. And then there is another question that is it's more like about this interview. Those are two questions that are a tradition of the interview, and one is who do you think we should get for an interview, and why? Why do you think they are like we should speak with?
Who can we get?
Anyone, not just artists, anyone in the world who has works in music, who's done something in music.
I don't know. It's a difficult question.
I think
it would be really interesting if you could get like Becky from Hotbox to interview.
All right. Yeah. Of course.
And someone supernatural, someone like out of earth. I don't know, like maybe Vladimir Putin. I want to ask him loads of questions.
I think you're not the only one who wants to ask.
Man, so many questions, but
I need to show you. I'm in Berlin now in a flat from a friend of a friend, and I have a coffee cup with Vladimir Putin doing like this. I have no idea why, but yeah, it's one of these things. And and then there is another thing. One question we should ask our next guest without knowing who they're gonna be.
One question, what we could ask, it can be, I don't know. It's like I can say anything really, but
I can ask you a question from a previous guest
yeah.
to get things started. So if you think about it, if it comes to mind. The question is, what other jobs have you worked to support your music career? And what jobs you would never do if it was even when you had to support your music career?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, a question for you, yes.
So like I used to work in events company. It was like more like crewing company that we used to like build and used to build the events. Like we used to do the lights, sound, stage, and we were unloading the trucks and loading trucks. It was like more like manual work, but for the events.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, that job really helped me with Fold and with the knowledge that I got from that. It helped me how to do like loads of stuff in here, like with the lighting, with sound, with like all the stuff. And job that I don't think there is a job that I wouldn't do. Like I could do like any job, and I think in general we can do anything. Like we are limitless in terms of like it depends on the situation and what we're doing and how we are like socially or mentally. But like I don't think there is a job that you should be ashamed, or I don't think there is a job that you can't do. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. Capable of doing. I think we can do anything.
Yeah. And my question for the next guest will be, what is the color palette you see when you're on acid?
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Any on mushrooms or like or CBD or anything.
Or for people who
Yeah.
never took drugs, it can be when you breathe very hard, you do sports too hard.
Multi-purpose question.
Okay, amazing. Lasha, this has been a great pleasure, fun to see you here. Thank you so much for being with us and for doing this.
No, thank you so much. It's been absolute fun, and it was like I think we need more time like this when we sit down and share our thoughts, our ideas, like share this little philosophical knowledge, which is not even philosophical, to share with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's true that we never learn on other people's mistakes, but we need to take them to the heart. We need to learn on each other's mistakes and support each other and be someone that you always wanted to be. Like there is no like measuring tool that will measure who you want to be or how much you want to be. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to be ourselves, support each other, support what we love, and put everything and like. Let's find what we really love and let it kill us, you know. And yeah, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been logged in and listening to our nonsense, my nonsense. I don't want to call it your nonsense, but
it's our nonsense.
And yeah, good luck with this project. It's really nice, amazing, and like as I said before, it means a lot to be possible to express our feelings and emotions, like on a platform like this, and especially during this really hard time, as we spoke before. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like people finding like really difficult to come out from their world and be open to people. So that's why we need to break the barriers and just come out and support each other.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. I agree, and I hope it was fine. It was fun or useful for anyone who was listening to something. And also, just before we shut down, I wanted to give a shout out to all the people at Fold, James, because I know him personally, but also all the rest of the crew. You guys have done something incredible together with Lasha. And shout out also to all the HoS Sound crew for making this possible. Lasha, just last few things for people who are interested in your projects. Is there anything you want to flag, perhaps upcoming releases or pages where they should find your music?
I don't know, like probably my socials. Like I don't have anything like planned like that. Yeah, you know, I always send those bottles and letters in the bottles, and people find it. So I keep it that way.
let's keep it that way, and we'll make sure that we're gonna flag.
It's a very ancient method, but you know it works. Maybe it'll work for some other people as well. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I've got a few mixes coming out. I've got like release coming out of Ear to Ground with Gareth. I've got like release coming out of Fold Records, and yeah, doing loads of interesting stuff, like things that I've got like this time for my music, and it kept me sane throughout all this period. And like Fold on the other side, like just the team behind it, and everyone who's here. Like without them, it would be so difficult like to keep sanity these weird times. And yeah, I want to say thank you.
I share the thanks. Thank you for doing that. It was a pleasure, and I hope to see you in Berlin this weekend if conditions allow us to. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
In Berlin again, like
people are gonna catch you playing at some point very soon. Lasha, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay, guys, this is Joseph, and this is the outro. If you really like the content, I wanted to ask you, please consider liking us on Instagram or leaving a review on the podcast. Whether you're using that on Apple is very useful for us, and your comment makes all of our work worth it. Also, if you have any guests that you really would like us to chat with, let us know. We take any suggestion or any feedback, and we use it to improve and direct what we're gonna do next. If you're a producer and you're interested in masterclasses with artists such as Scalameria, VSK, Romek, Lag, and many more, you can now check our website homosound.co.uk. We have plenty of classes and more are coming as well. So brace yourself, you're gonna get a lot of content. And one last thing, shout out for Vlad for editing this podcast and Declan for creating the content that you all see on social media. Plus, of course, big thanks to Juliana, Flaminia, Alessandro and Rick from TapeFeed for all the rest of the work at HoS Sound. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time at HoS Sound.